Hey friends, it's me. Hey, I am really excited to get on here today. I feel like every time I'm getting on here lately, it's me talking about something that God spoke or God showed me, and I'll tell you, like, it's not always like this for me. Like, I haven't lived my life with God showing me major things all the time, but I'm going through a season, and I feel like sometimes when people are going through really hard seasons and they're seeking the Lord, that God is faithful to say, hey, I see where you are and I see your struggle, and I just want you to know I'm right here with you. I'm walking it with you. And I'm maybe a little more emotional right now as I share it, because it's something that just happened. What is today? Just happened yesterday morning. And I've just been thinking about this today and praying about it, worshiping the Lord. And I'm just so thankful for, even though I'm walking through the hard stuff, that He's there saying, hey there, I'm here with you. I see what you're going through and I'm with you. And so, if some of you guys have been following my story, maybe hearing my story recently, I posted it. It was the one, me talking about like an answer to prayer. There's probably several of them. I'm in a blue shirt that says Missouri on it. In a kitchen. Anyways, it was talking about me seeking the Lord and needing an answer, and Him giving me this answer. And part of it was, it has to do with like a burning bush, like me being like a burning bush and different things like that. And back up from that, because that just happened recently, back up from that, several months ago, back in the fall, me and my family, every year for the last, 8 years, have gone on this camp trip in the fall. It's like celebrating Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot. And we go camping. We've done it with several different groups. So a couple of the groups, we've done it a couple different times with the same group. And this year, it was me and my two oldest daughters, including my oldest daughter who, and her family, her husband and baby, and we were with some of their friends. It was a really wonderful time. Outdoor worship every night, like with a big stage, like 1,000 people, 1,200, I think the biggest night. And but one of the nights after worship, we were around a smaller campfire. One of the worship leaders came over and was sang this song that I had not heard before, and it really like, how sometimes you hear something or you read something and it like grabs onto you, like this is for you, like this is, like I grabbed onto it. It's like, this is my song right now. And I've listened to it so many times, but if you've heard that song Holy Ground, if you look it up on YouTube, type in Holy Ground Passion, what should come up in the little thing is a couple links. One of them is longer than the other ones. One's like 11 minutes long. Some of the other ones are like 5 minutes or something. That one, for the last several months, I've just had, like, it's like on my thing. I just listen to it. I've listened to it a lot. The kids are fighting in the car. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm turning on my song. It just like brings peace. But in the song, it's talking about, let every heart be holy ground, show us your glory. Just it's been a really great song. It's been really meaningful to me, and I've listened to it a lot, and it was really, and since then they've played it at my church. They play it a lot at my church, and every time it comes on, it's just like I'm there, it's like I'm in the presence of God, because it's just like, it's just one of those things that like immediately draws me in. And so the word I had gotten, after seeking God, like for an answer on something, and if you haven't heard that video, maybe you should listen to it. Then you might know what I'm talking about if you're interested. But I had sought God about an answer to some things, and he had spoken over me this thing about burning bush, da da da. Anyways, for some reason, like here I've been listening to this song for months. That word, I just never connected the two. But like even on this, it's so weird because like it doesn't talk about it in the normal song, but that 11-minute version that I've been listening to, it like during like part of the song, like she's like praying and speaking over the crowd and talking about the burning bush and Moses and stuff. And like I said, I never correlated that song with this word that I got as an answer a couple weeks ago. So anyways, so just yesterday morning I was at church. It was Sunday morning, and that song comes on, and it's just like immediately I'm just like, I'm there, I'm centered in, on the Lord, and just feel his presence like all over me. And I start getting this picture, like this vision in my head, and it's like I was walking down this path. Hold on, let me back up just a little. I should have made notes. I should always make notes. I never make them. I just fly off the seat of my pants or whatever. So I have this thing in my life that I think about. It's like one of those conscious things that are in my head a lot. It's called the sacred ordinary. I kind of got that phrase from a lady named Joy Fournay that I really love. I know she's written a book. I haven't even read the book, but I follow her on social media, and she's just this woman that so loves her family, that is so good about the way she serves the Lord and serves her husband, and the love and the environment that she has for her family, and her love for the Lord that is so evident in how she is and her essence and her attitude. Like it's refreshing, and it's like I love it. And so like when I see her pop up, like I always want to hear what she has to say. And she has this thing that I've kind of taken on as my own, called sacred ordinary, or the everyday sacred. And the concept is, for instance, as a mother, I'm speaking from where I am in life, as a mother, there's all these things in life that feel like they're so ordinary. Doing laundry, cooking dinner, taking our children here and there. It all feels ordinary. But what it really is, it's the sacred ordinary. It's these little things that don't seem like much, but if you look back over the course of time, you see how they've added up, and this threading that's happened, this network of the love and support, the ordinary things you've done to make this base of this life that you've created, this safe environment, this haven that you've created for your family, your children, and your husband, and how it may feel ordinary, but it's quite sacred. It's provided safety, it's provided love, it's provided nourishment, to raise humans in, to raise your children, to love your husband, to love your children. And it kind of goes along with my like a mindset I have a lot of thinking, living my life, whatever I'm doing, being an ambassador of Christ. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether I'm going to work, who I'm being as a person, how I'm interacting with the person at the store. Our life is short, and I want to make it matter. I want to do well. I want to take those everyday, ordinary things that seem like they're ordinary and everyday, and bring God into them, bring a sacredness into everything I do. And so going up, picking up where I was, so I'm singing in church, and I'm just feeling God's presence like all over me. and I see this picture of me walking down this path, and I don't even make this one correlation until afterwards. Afterwards, I met with one of my friends, Serena, who does my hair, a really good friend of mine, and my second daughter, Lauren. We met after the first service and had coffee and little special girly things, and talked about what God's doing in our life and catching each other up. And I'm trying to explain to them, but I'm walking down this path, and there's fire all around me on each side. But it's not like a scary fire that's like red and orange. You know, it's like it doesn't have the feel of a scary fire. And there is like everywhere around me is fire. Like I'm not on fire. This path is not on fire, but there is fire all around. But it's gold, and it's sparkly. It's like it's golden, and it's just fire everywhere. And I'm walking down it, and I'm like I'm just experiencing it. I'm just feeling it. And I feel like, you know, and as the song's going, it's like, let every burning heart be holy ground. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm walking in this fire, and God was saying, he's like, you know, because the song goes, show us your glory, show us your glory. And God was saying, because it was like this holographic picture is very, very different, but because it's like life was all around me, but I'm walking in this fire, and God was saying, you are walking in the glory of God. And I'm reminded of like Bible stories where you read these things, and these amazing things are happening, and you're reading them, and they're just stories. It's using everyday people. They're not perfect. They're using everyday life circumstances. Imperfect people living in an imperfect world, and God is coming down and living his story through us, through them in the Bible, through me. And he was saying, you are walking in the glory of God right now. Like the story that you're walking, he's like, this is my story. I am writing your story, and it's the glory of God. And I'm just getting choked up right now, because like it was so choking up for me at the time, and just feeling like the presence of God, and feeling like, oh my gosh, it just all connects. Like it's the everyday. It's the sacredness of the everyday. It's the glory of God showing himself in the everyday, living our everyday lives. And I just like got on my knees, like this, the way the church is set up, like the aisles are not that big, like the seats in front of me are not that far. I'm like shimmy down and get on my knees, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like standing on holy ground right now, and I just bow and just like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I'm so humbled that he's allowing me to be part of his story, or maybe that he's coming down and being part of my story, or however it works out, however you're supposed to say it, or however it's supposed to be, I don't know. But it's just that awe of God working in our lives, the story of our lives. And I guess I'm just wanting to encourage everyone, like, we all have this story to tell. We all have a story on earth, and God wants to come into the lives of each one of us and live his story in our lives. Let our story be his story, to the glory of God, to walk in his glory in the here and now, in the everyday sacred, in the sacred ordinary. Let his glory be shown in what we're doing every day. Our lives are so short. I just want to encourage everyone to surrender it all. God's plan for our lives is so much better than what we could ever imagine, what we could ever think of ourselves. I'm around people that, some people haven't given it all to God. They see things around them that look a lot more, they think are more appealing. than God's ways. They may see things and they're like, well, I know God. Like, I know his ways are good. I believe God's ways are good, but, you know, I kind of want to do this too. I want to live my life this way, and I just want to encourage you. It's all a lie. Any thought that there's a way better than his. I thought I had my water around here. Any thought that we think that there's a way better than his is just a lie. The plans of God bring life, not death. And we're here for such a short time. God has so much in store that he could do through each one of us if we just surrender. You know, if we just surrender. So, wow, praise God. I'm just so excited of what God is doing and the amazingness of God coming down, just like God came down in human form and walked among us as Jesus, as Yeshua came down and walked among us as a living human being and tasted what we had to go through, felt the things and the struggles that we had to go through, and yet lived a sinless life. And he is here so wanting to show himself through us, live that life through us, and be a light to the world. And in the process, he makes an exciting story for you, an exciting story. Let's all just, be surrendered. Give it all to God and see what he could do with our lives. It's much more exciting than what we could ever do ourselves. Be blessed, y'all.